Hello, everybody. Welcome. It's Christmas, and I've got my, as somebody mentioned in the chat, I think it might have even been Wagyu, my manky Christmas hat that's been with me for many years. It's not actually a Dickensian model. It is man-made fibres. But, it's the Christmas episode of Sonictalk, the podcast to do with music technology. We'll be talking this week. Really, this is an end-of-year show. We don't have any more episodes until the new year. We've been posting our Gear of the Year sort of votes up for the last 8 weeks, and we're going to be announcing the results. So if you're excited to see what came in, then please hang around, and we'll have lots of fun and games. You may have noticed that Matt Hodson's name was removed. He's disgraced himself. No, he hasn't actually. He just his deadline is, he's got a deadline, and he just can't. He can't get away, so he had to pull out at the last minute, which is a shame, but happy Christmas to Matt. Right, before we get started on the fun and games, I'm just going to play a message from our Patreon, because we've had a bumper month this month. Let me tell you about our Patreon. Much of our content is posted ad-free, so you don't have to put up with pesky YouTube ads like this one. There's Sonic Talk pre-show. We post exclusive video content for our reviews. We're adding videos from our archives. We host a monthly Superstar Hangout. There's also a brilliant members map to see where you are in the world. We have a growing set of sounds and samples, impulse responses from classic and unusual reverbs, plus a new decent sampler template that sounds fantastic. In fact, the music you're listening to now by Paulee was made using our sample sets. So if you want to support what we do and get more, head over to patreon.com/Sonicstate. Sonicstate, that's right. And I just want to say, actually, I did just post to go with the Muse review, which was up yesterday. For those of you who've been waiting, I know it's been waiting a long time. I posted some sample sets for that, and they sound really good, actually. There's 3 of them. So do grab those if you're a member. I all want to say welcome new members. Manny Fernandez joined yesterday. The Manny Fernandez, the legendary patch designer. So nice to see him. We got a Superstar Hangout on Sunday. You never know. Maybe he'll show up. That'll be fun. It's the last one, the end of year Sunday one. We're going to be talking much about these Gear of the Year results and people's gear picks and all that sort of stuff. So do come and join us 6 p.m. Sunday if you're a Superstar member and above. Well, no, there is no above. So yes, Manny Fernandez, Brendan Sweeney, C-Strap, Taylor Couture, I think I pronounced that right. I'm sorry, I apologise if I don't. Johan Coley and Tom Tebby, welcome one and all. So let's get on to our guests now. We'll start furthest away. Hold on, I need to scroll up. I can't see everybody. There, we'll start over here. Hey, it's Richard Nicol, who's got a very similar. I think you bought the same hat, maybe from the same catalogue from me, but you didn't. You went for the fun fur version rather than the tartan version. Richard Nicol, of course, Pittsburgh Modular. How are you, Richard? Lovely to see you.
I'm good. This hat's a little small, but it's holding my brains in today. It's good.
Yeah, I know. I suffer from a tight hat. I've got a large head, so I'm unable to wear many hats, and lots of hats don't suit me. Though I think this one actually does. I could see myself maybe extending this, to other parts of the year, or maybe not. Anyway, lovely to have you, Richard. We've also got. I'm going to jump over to. Oh, look, it's Krampus from Paulee Expo. Nice set of horns, Paulie. You're looking very sort of Christmas imp. Christmas imp, I would say that would probably be. Yeah.
Wintry.
Winter imp.
Yeah. How are we doing? We all good?
We're good. Yeah. You've been.
Is anyone else?
You've had the flu.
Is anyone else as ill as I am? I've had a terrible flu.
No, not yet. No,
spluttering.
I know lots of people have been. There's a lot of it about. I heard it. What was it called? Somebody called it a quandemic, because there's now 4 things you can get at the moment. So, and one of them's flu. One of them's winter stomach bug, and I think there's probably COVID around as well. And I don't know what else there is. Probably I don't know. Maybe it's memory loss because I can't remember. So something like that. Lovely to have you, Paulie, of course.
Yes, at least I've had a couple of cool things turn up to review. We've got the Roland P6, which is, wow, I love it. It's tiny, it's cool. UI is a bit fiddly, but when you get into it, it's actually pretty cool. And also the steam pipe turned up.
Yeah,
can't wait
to hear that.
So I've been making kind of angsty Irish kind of pipe kind of tunes, and I got banjo guy Ollie playing some bodger drum, and it's going to be amazing. So that's going to be awesome. The last thing I got this month, which is going to be my Christmas project, is this a Zintian
nice.
5.1, which I'm going to build Pi-based Linux Groovebox. So, yeah, at least I've got some nice toys to get me through.
Sounds like you'll be sounds like you'll be having a lot of fun. Actually, I should mention Midi is going to be reviewing the body synth Metal Fetishist as well. So and we've also got, hold on, I feel drum roll, Gaz Williams, who's there with a very improvised hat. Looks less impressive in full resolution. On the poster frame, it does look like bubble wrap now, but it's pretty good. I should point out that the brief was wear a hat. So Paulee's got horns, I've got the Christmas hat, the legendary Christmas hat. I've got a backup of this in case this one falls apart. It's one of the top tips of a reviewer. If you take more than a few days to review, always have a pair of outfits so that you can have continuity. So I'll have Christmas. This show isn't going to take that long. That I need to actually swap out my Christmas hat because it'll have worn out. Lovely to see you, Gaz. I hope you're well. Loved your new video that you posted with the. Oh gosh, no, what's it called? I'm trying to remember. It's the
Quasimodal.
Quasimodal. That's right. Love all that background stuff. I thought that looked really good. I think that is the way forward. That's a really strong look.
It was Sloan doing the visuals, of course.
Nice.
But I had a stinking copyright thing on it, which just really upset me because it's like this was what I'm trying to do with. Yes, we did it on Thursday, and it's in, and actually the piece in question. So I mean, if I was to go ahead and monetize the video, which I'm not doing at the moment, but they would have a claim on it, and it's for a tune from 2017, 42 views and like 7 subscribers on the thing, and it's kind of upset me in that this can be going on.
You should challenge it. You should challenge it. Honestly, it's worth. I've challenged a few because we got a load when we posted stuff that used the same part of a promotional video that somebody else had posted. I think it was the DJ Mag Awards, and they'd used the same bit of Ableton Push promo video, and I just wrote to them and said, "Look, this is ridiculous. This is marketing material that they've used in their video, and we've used it in ours. They don't own it." And so a human has to evaluate that. So if you make a case sort of succinctly and clearly, then it sometimes will work quite well. So it's well worth it.
I have filed one with YouTube, but as you can imagine, I think things like that need to be. Well, I guess AI is going to be dealing with those claims, I suppose.
But the problem is that AI is also generating, because people are just generating and uploading tons and tons and tons of AI copyright, AI material. I mean, you saw that video from Venus Theory, which was rather depressing. I don't encourage anybody to watch it because it just makes you think we're all doomed. But yeah, it's quite scary. The gist of it was that he used AI to mimic his own music, which generated a claim when he uploaded it to another channel against his own music because he told it to sound like him, and so it's just ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. And there was,
excuse me,
that Katy, I mean, this is going back a little bit, and I'll just do this briefly, but that Katy Perry and that Flame thing where there was that little synthesizer motif that was, her Dark Horse song, which was, huge song. And then there was that stinking musicologist, I can't remember, Todd someone, who was brought in to try and prove that it was like some sort of plagiarist, that this, vaguely similar little synth hook in the background, made it plagiarist. And I was thinking about that musicologist. I was thinking, if you, go into being a musicologist, I guess you're kind of interested in the history of music. Well, how does it feel to be one of the people who tried to destroy music for future generations, Todd? Yeah. So
okay. All right. Well, I'm glad you got that off your chest, Gaz. But remember, folks, it's a festive show. Goodwill and cheer to all people. All of that sort of stuff. Let's keep it light. But
all right.
Oh wow! Look at that. We've had a fabulous. Look at that. Robert Fat Dust. Nice to see you, mate. I often see you at the show. Merry Christmas. Merry me. Merry you. Thank you very much for that super stick. Right. So this is how it's going to work today. We have no topics of note. other than over the last few weeks, we've been running 8 weeks. We've been running a kind of poll. It's not very scientific. We didn't go through the kind of going through all of the things and have people vote on them. We just said, look, what's your favourite X of this year? And most of them were wrong because they were in the wrong year or the wrong thing. But we have results.
You're all stupid. You're ridiculous.
No,
we're not doing this again.
No, that's not true. I appreciate every single person who took the time to vote, and it has given us a fun show. So yeah, we're starting with the Gear of the Year awards. So that's how it's going to go. And I suppose we should crack on because there are 8 rounds. And that will probably mean it's going to take us a little while. So buckle in and let's start off with the first one. So I'm going to go with the first one. And the first one is for, actually, what is it? Best Software Instrument. Okay, and the winner is of the Best Software Instrument. Actually, we'll see if you can guess. I'll play a video because I've got a video for it and we'll just...
Super happy that we can finally show it and also make it audible.
Right.
And
you have some slides to show us first, though.
So
yeah, that's my terrible non-edit, but this is basically
this is the
Urs
user
Heckman there
interface.
with Zebralet 3, which was actually a free piece of software which was voted for as the top software of 2024, which is kind of, isn't that bizarre? I mean, it wasn't what I was expecting. I should also, there are mentions for the Cherry Audio, second was Cherry Audio Chroma, and third was the Arturia Synthex V. I feel a good one, a good shout would actually be another Cherry Audio one, which was the Polyvox, which I thought was really good. So that's really it. So now the floor is open to discuss what would have been, maybe what would yours have been if you had voted, or maybe you did. It was all anonymous, so I guess not. So thoughts? I don't know, Richard. Favorite software instrument of the year? Do you think?
No.
No.
To be honest, I've used Ableton Live and the Ableton Live built-in stuff. I haven't used any third-party VSTs this year at all, so I will yield my time.
Excellent. Okay, nice one. So that brings us swiftly to Paulee.
Yes. I think Zebralet's a good call just because it's obviously with the spectral stuff, the wavetable stuff, it's something you can get lost in. And also... It is free, isn't it? But it's free because it's a cut down version, isn't it? You only get one of the oscillators, I think, in the full Zebra. But I think it's still a lot to play with for people, and it's also usable as well. This type of synthesis can be quite unwieldy. Personally, for me, I've fallen in love with Sumu.
The Madrona Labs thing.
The Madrona Labs one, which is another spectral synth. Absolutely fallen in love with that and did a recent video on it. So that's the other one I really liked was Hyperion, but I think that was from 2023 or something like that.
Yes.
Or that's been going a while.
We shot that. Actually, we shot a video of that. And that is really impressive as well. I agree. Yeah. But I think it's been going
the
a while.
new version of that. So the thing that struck me though was before the winners were announced, I was like, I've played with quite a lot of stuff this year. I bet I'll know a lot of it. But there's so much coming out that I actually haven't had experience with at least 3/4 of the nominations, if you get me. There's just not enough time in the year to play every little single thing that comes out.
I agree.
I think that shows we've got a healthy market. We've got a healthy community, of people who are interested in buying gear.
I think one thing I would say is that I think Synthmaster 3 might have been in there as got a couple of votes as well, and that's a pretty impressive thing. I mean, I'd never experienced that. I mean, we did do something with Synthmaster, so but it was I thought that was a really impressive thing too. So that and Hyperion are both like big kind of synthesis level workstations. So Gaz, over to you.
I'm sorry, I'm a bit like
Rich. Not really software. Okay, that's cool.
Haven't really
save us
used
some time.
It's
I like it. That's all right. Well, we'll move swiftly on. That's fine. I don't know if anyone's been putting anything in the. Let's see. I'm just seeing if there's.
Can I mention one more? Actually.
Oh yeah. Okay.
The Chroma one. The Chroma, the Rhodes Chroma emulation. Was it Cherry Audio who did that one? Chroma X, was it called?
That's
or something
right.
like that.
Well, that came second.
Haven't played it, but I've played on a Rhodes Chroma probably about 2 years ago, and it's a very special sounding synth with a lot of routing. So I think I might look into that one a bit more because it's a very special sounding thing.
Yeah, nice one. I'm trying to think whether GeForce did anything this year because their stuff is always great. Because they did the drum, they did the DMX. I'm just trying to think, did they do something right at the beginning of the year? Was it one of the times?
Have they just released something or something?
Yeah,
like
they just released the icon. The icon drum, which is the Lin drum. Yeah, that looks pretty good as well.
Yeah,
nice video from Alex. Ball, in fact, he's done a load of that stuff.
And you know it's going to sound good by those guys. It's going to sound amazing because they've been at it such a long time.
Oops, GeForce OBX maybe says Wagyu. Yes, that's quite possible. But I think the thing is also there's so many now that it's quite hard to remember, what's in focus, and I think that's the thing. I mean, there's which is quite exciting. There's a lot of stuff. All right, let's move on to one more. Let's go to our next topic, which is this one is best beats, and I'm trying to think whether this one is this one. Yeah, I think this one. This is the best beats. So yeah, hands down, this was actually. So if you haven't figured it out, this is actually Digitact or Digitact 2.
This is Digitact 2. The next one.
So yes,
like time in decades.
Which it's amazing. It's amazing how popular the Digitact was. The initial Digitact. It really became. I mean, you'd see it everywhere, particularly for live performances. Either that or an Octatrack. But the Digitact was a huge hit. I don't know how many they've made, but I think it's a heck of a lot. I think they've sold a ton of them, and the two. Because it's got a lot more RAM. There's loads more RAM. There's more sort of processing power. There's a whole load of stuff. So an unsurprising
stereo, isn't it? The new one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It is unsurprising winner, Gaz. I think really in many ways.
Yeah, fantastic. And I think in the version 1 they wanted to kind of keep it quite separate from the Octatrack. And late in the Digitact 1's life, it did receive a time stretch algorithm. I think this one, the Digitact 2 out of the box, then is it's kind of like a best of Electron really in it. Brilliant. I'm just trying to think what else. I mean, I've been so modular-y sort of focused, so I tend to think in modular these days regarding things like that, and with beats and actually. Radical approach to sort of beat making. I know we're going to talk about modules later on. One of the modules, which is a runner-up, I would say is the div skip module. I know it doesn't generate.
Excuse me.
Spoiler alert!
Do that. You can't do that, Gaz. You can't talk about future rounds before we've announced them. Goodness gracious.
Oh yeah.
Some things are sacred.
Oh God, I'm sorry.
That's all right. So but the
the point I was making though there is sort of different approaches to kind of beat creation and things that facilitate that, and the Stolper beats, which by the Making Sound machines, I think might have come out last year, but it's something then. Can inspire really interesting sort of rhythms and stuff. Sorry. So, drum boxes. When was the KO2 out?
Yeah, KO2 would get my vote. Definitely.
Yeah, I mean that's
a brilliant
just
machine.
It's brilliant, and they got so many things right with that one, just for fun, immediacy. That's this year, isn't it? Is it earlier?
No, the KO2 was October 23.
Oh, was it? Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
Because that was going to be
medieval beats. Medieval beats.
There you go.
You have to have that instead. As you've spoken, Richard, what do you think about this guy? I should say, Body Synth Metal Fetishes came second. Jomox Alpha Bass Mark II third, joint third with Paulee and Tracker Plus and Unfiltered Audio Battalion. Just for those who want to know.
Well, I think obviously the mainstream hit here is the Digitech 2. It's the obvious choice. It's so usable and so much fun to play with. But I think the metal fetishist and the Jomox synth, they should get a little bit more love, and we should talk about them a little bit because these are two really interesting instruments on their own. The Metal Fetishist is just bonkers. If it suffers from anything, it suffers from sort of sounding like itself all the time. It's just brutal all the time, and it's really cool. And if that's the sound you're looking for, this thing is a lot of fun. And Jomox, their stuff always sounds first rate. That's the
true.
Analog sounds that they use and they create, and now this machine has sampling and everything in it. Really a well done instrument as well. And for a very small company producing really high quality gear, I think Jomox is right up there.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. Paulie.
Yes, with the Jomox as well, there's a full 4-operator FM audio engine in it, which is wild if you think about it, because it's supposed to be kind of like a 909-ish drum machine. And it does those kind of 909 plus, pushing things even further. Those kind of sounds very well, but full kind of 4-op FM
Nice.
drum machine. Very, very cool. The Metal Fetishist sounds like something I would like results I get by using complex signal chains of distortion, but it's not. It's literally just how it sounds. So I think it's a great, instant, brutal industrial machine. My picks for Groovebox is...
this is Beats. No, Groovebox is another
Beats.
Category. Yeah.
Yes, sorry. My pick for Beats is probably going to be... an odd choice, not actually a drum machine, but something you can use to play with percussion. The Drum Beam, which just came out recently.
Yes.
Which is a long bar that you can whack with drumsticks, but also drag. So you can kind of go hit, drag, hit, drag to get,
It's got lots of zones in it. Yeah.
It's got lots of zones. I said to them, I had this idea for years and you've made it well done, so it's going to be absolutely brilliant to see what drummers do with that.
Yeah, it looks really good. I should point out the Metal Fetishist is coming out. Midi is looking for that at that, so it'll be out at some point in the next week or so or two. I don't know. It depends how much time we take off for Christmas. But there we go. So I already said what the best beats were. So I'm going to take a quick break here and bring a message from our sponsors, and we'll be back after this.
Introducing iZotope Cascadia. Intelligent delay without distraction. Add depth and rhythm with Cascadia's spacious musical tape delay, all while carving out space with adaptive unmasking, effortlessly blending echoes, slapbacks and textures into your tracks. Intelligent delay without distraction. Head to iZotope.com today and download a free trial and learn more.
Once again, we thank iZotope for their continued sponsorship. Much appreciated. Now back to the show. Yeah, so what's next? Okay, best MIDI controller. This is interesting. Some categories received lots and lots of votes, some less so. I don't know whether that is a reflection on what the winner of this one is, but it was a surprise to me. Let's put it that way. So I'll play the video that I've got now and see whether you agree. That's right. It's the Airwave, which is nicely demoed in this video. I don't think this was out when we discussed it. I'll let it play a bit because there's some really good... yeah, there we go. Roly Airwave got the top spot. And then we got the Embodme Era 2, which I think was out this year because I think we saw that at NAMM. Then lots of joint thirds. Kurzweil MIDI board, I'm pretty sure that's not this year. So Oxy Instruments 1, again, not this year. These are ones that got lots of votes, so that's why. Expressive E Osmos, again, not this year. Novation Mark IV. Launch Key Mark IV, which I've got here, which I think was actually pretty good. It's a good shout. Nectar Impact Line, again, not last year. And Arturia Keylab Mark III. So a lot of confusion about the year of release, I think, in that particular subject. So there you go. Paulie,
Yes.
Do you have many MIDI controllers? Because I mean, most of your keyboards have got keyboards, so I presume you just use those, right?
Most of my keyboards do have keyboards. That's why I call them keyboards. But anyway,
Yes.
no, I don't have that much use for MIDI controllers, basically, apart from very, very tiny ones. So very, very kind of tiny things where I'm. I like a good bedroom jam, to be honest. Just
Right.
lying on my bed with a synth and a small MIDI controller or something like that, and then kind of just going for it. So yeah. This is possibly the topic where I know the least, and I'm very, very glad that other people on the panel have already gone, I don't know anything about this, go on to someone else, because it means I'm allowed to say,
do the same.
I don't know anything about this. Go on to someone
You've
else.
got a pass. You're going for a pass. Okay, fair enough. That's it.
That's one.
Okay, well, I don't know, Richard, I guess MIDI controllers, when you're working with Modular a lot, which I know you do, obviously, because you've got Modular, I mean, you have other things besides. I mean, is there anything that you tend to reach for, or is it mostly built into the device you use anyway?
I think it goes either way. I don't know how to play the piano, so putting a bunch of piano keys in front of me is kind of a waste of space. So I tend for sequencers and sort of alternative controllers. And I really think the Air A2 is fascinating to me. I love the idea that it can be anything you want it to be. It looks very expressive, and you can design the interface for your workflow. And to me, hardware is all about workflow and creating something that allows you to express yourself in the way that you want. That's the difference, I think, the big difference between using a VST plugin and a hardware instrument. So creating something that's sort of a hybrid of that, and that's what I think the Air A2 is this sort of, it's a hardware platform, but it's really driven by this software where you can lay it out and develop what you want. This thing is fascinating to me. And this morning I watched 2 or 3 videos on it. I was like, how did I missed it somehow. But I'm definitely going to be
really
looking
interesting.
into this thing.
I tell you what it reminds me of. It reminds me of back in the day, there was the Lemur controller, which was announced just before the the launch of the iPad, so it rather blew it out of the water, which was a touchscreen where you could just create interfaces on a surface area. The Aero Touch is the same sort of thing. It's like a large rolly block, kind of quite big, so you can create areas, pads, keys, controllers, and then with multicolour LEDs. And it's a really interesting, again, sort of French technology. They seem to be doing well when it comes to these sort of touch interfaces. It does look really good. I mean, the Aero 2 is out this year, so it does fit. I heard you chiming in there, guys. It does look like a pretty good thing. I mean, we should review it, I think, because it does look like a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's totally up my street. And when I got the Oxy One, it was like a toss up between the two, really. And I think I went for the Oxy One because I think when I got the Oxy One, it was on version 4.5. So I just kind of felt it was maybe a little bit more mature.
Yeah, it's got a load of MIDI. It's got a MIDI and CV. It's got CV out and gate out as well, hasn't it? It's got a lot of connectivity.
The Air has, yeah. And you've got that eight loopers as well. Each, you can do those like 8 looper layers and stuff. It does look really cool. And I think I probably will get one. But I mean, I know I've just mentioned in the Oxy One there, but as a controller, for me, that has just kind of like left virtually everything for dead, really, because it's just so utterly brilliant. I know people are probably bored of me banging on about it now, but having a controller, I've been working in Modular for the last few years exclusively, and having something actually outside of the rig was a decision I was unsure about. But then I got Ryan Sanders to think, really, he thank for this, because he was really putting me onto it, saying, look, that the Oxy just kind of combines all of the different kind of approaches to sequencing, and the MIDI control sort of aspect of it is, it's brilliant. Because I think one of the things maybe some people are not aware of, they do a tiny little breakout box called the Split, and it's kind of clever because it takes a single MIDI cable, a 3.5 millimeter MIDI jack output of the Oxy, and into this little box. And then that box gives you like a full size MIDI out and a full size MIDI DIN, but also an additional 2 entire MIDI channel, MIDI outputs.
Ports.
So you've got like 3 ports and a through on this little box. You have to put a setting in the options to say, and I don't know how is it working. I don't know how it does that, but so it uses that single MIDI output to convert it into essentially 4 outputs if you include the through in there. And I just think that's really, really smart thinking. Really, yeah. You just have to remember, just if you are going back and forward, but like I am, to remember in the settings to turn the split on and off, because otherwise it doesn't work.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think the Roly Airwaves 299, the Embodme Air 2 is about €799. I think maybe plus tax as well. I think we'd have to take a look at that. Sorry, I got a bit sidetracked there. Have I been to everybody? Because Paulie didn't have an input. Yep. Okay. So we should probably crack on. We're not even halfway, and we're halfway through the hour. I feel the pressure of time upon me. Okay. So let's go. So now we're on to a best sampler / Groovebox, which is kind of similar. And to be fair, I'll just say it now because the Dig Attack won that as well, and there were a lot of votes for both of these. So, but instead of the Dig Attack video, I'm going to play the Metal Fetishist video just so that people can see it. So at least that's what. Yeah. There we go. Best sampler Groovebox is not this. It's the Dig Attack 2, and this is the Metal Fetishist. God, that's hard to say. And yeah, it is very noisy at this point, and I think it does lots of things that aren't always that outrageous, but I thought I'd play that in there. So yeah, Dig Attack wins again. Perhaps we should move over this quickly, because what else can we say? I mean, I suppose that the Ableton Move got second place. Synthstrom Deluge got third place, but that's not from this year. But the Paulee Tracker Plus was joint, so I guess the Tracker Plus was a Tracker Plus this year. I'm not sure it was either, actually. Do you? I don't know if there's any other groove boxes you could think of, Richard, from this. The
Move, the Move is one of the few instruments that I actually purchased this year. I had some really specific interest in it. I wanted to really understand how the recall function on it worked. I found that really interesting from watching the original demos. And I have to say that how the recall function works on the Move is very, very groundbreaking and really interesting, and something I think will be included in a lot of instruments in the future, because it does really add a lot to the instrument. The idea that you can just sort of jam along, and if you do like something, hit recall and it'll just remember what you just did and add it to your sequence. That's very cool. But unfortunately, though, as I've been playing with the Move more and more, you sort of start to run into the walls very quickly with it.
Yeah.
And what I found was that I would bounce it to Ableton, make a couple tweaks, and then try to get it back to the Move, and it was a one-way street, and I found that super frustrating. And so the Move has sort of been relegated to me as a way to play samples, like one-off vocal samples, while I'm jamming, unfortunately, because I think there's a lot to it. I just think it needs a Rev 2 in the software.
Yeah, well, I'm sure they're working on it. That's a fair comment. Paulie, groove boxes? I suppose this is a different thing.
Groove boxes.
But yeah.
So one of my absolute favourites from this year was the Sonicware Mega Synthesis.
Yes.
And my version is now emblazoned with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, thanks to Crema Cafe design.
Brilliant.
Because I had to, basically. Because it not only does kind of 4-bit sampling, nice and crusty, but it's obviously got FM in there. And also, I use it as a MIDI controller a hell of a lot, because it's not velocity sensitive, really. There's a velocity knob. But for a lot of the things, when I'm just, trying to make patches or stuff, I just use it as a MIDI controller, and it's perfect. The other one, of course, is the P6, which I've got a Friday fun coming up with, because even though it's not too dissimilar from the MC101 under the hood, you've got some samples you can play back, you've got effects, but it actually brings out a lot more onto the front panel.
Yeah.
Like, you can just hit the lo-fi effect, or you can just hit the filter, and rather than have to go through all of the very intense programming you do on the one.
They've done a good job on
and
these little what are they?
Yes.
Ira Compact series. I think they really have. Yeah.
This compact low end market has really blown up and become actually super useful. And I think the last thing to say is that there is a lot of depth in there, but it's optional. And I think that's a great choice by manufacturers to give two experiences. Give something for the snorkelers, just to, play with, but also give something for the deep divers.
Something for the snorkelers. I'm
so
just going to write that down.
I think Blake Angelos said that. I think I've stolen that, but there we go.
I'm just going to write it down because I think that's a great phrase. Let's see. What was I going to say? There was something. Oh, yeah. No, it's gone. Gaz, fill my embarrassment.
I was thinking about this. I was thinking about things. I haven't actually tried one, but that Yamaha Seek Track came out this year, didn't it? That would constitute a Groovebox, I think.
It would. I've heard differing. I've heard people saying it's so promising, but it's a pig to use.
I didn't inspire me particularly. But do you remember that thing covered at Super Booth, the Wii noise makers, what's it, the PGB1, that little thing? I mean, I'm not sure if it's out yet, but
the teeny one.
Yeah, and it's got loads of cool features on it. I've just got up the details here. So it's Wii Noise Makers is the company, and the PGB1. 6 synthesis channels, 2 sampler channels, 8 LFOs, 1 per channel, 4 master effects, onboard sampling,
nice
track sequencing, chord sequencer, arpeggiator, live sequencer effects, open source firmware.
You can buy it now. That's great.
Yeah, it was about 250 quid, I think, somewhere around that.
Yeah, I think Paulee, you sent us over there, didn't you? Because you said go and check that out, and we did do a video on it.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Little green thing, right?
I don't know.
Really
I didn't shoot. I didn't shoot the video. I have no memory of anything unless I watch the video. It's very hard for me to recall that stuff. So once again, okay. Well, that's good. I think now probably a good point. We are halfway. I should probably now just do a message from our friends. Another sponsor slot. Thanks very much to their support. Actually, I should say that at this point. But if you're a Patreon member, you won't be hearing this. So there you go. The deal of the year is here. Save 50% off. Complete 15. Everything you need to make the music you love in one do-it-all production bundle. Including our revolutionary sampler, Contact 8. Get set for 2025. Start creating with Complete. Thanks to Native Instruments for sponsoring the show. Now back to the panel. Yes, indeed. Right, so let's get on to round 5. This is Best Modular. So here we go.
Hello and welcome to this Sonictalk review of the
Meta. In a true moment of meta, Best Modular was in fact voted by as the meta module.
So many.
So yes, it's a meta performance, meta appearance, meta module was the winner. Second place was the Bafako Waniroi. And third place
Midi.
was the Div Skip from a good friend Ben DivKid. So that was really good to see. So yeah, Gaz, you mentioned this earlier, so I give you first dibs on this, so you can pick up where you left off.
Well, I've got the Oniroi from Bafako, and I initially was really quite excited about it, but then it was a little bit too buggy, so I sort of stopped using it for a bit. But I am glad to say now that the version 1.1 has come out and has actually made it a load better. It's much better, actually. So that's quite cool. But I mean, what makes that particular module quite interesting is, well, you wouldn't actually necessarily need to use it with anything else. It works really well as a complete standalone device, with because it's got like the sampler, like looper built into it, and then and oscillators, so you can kind of get it droning and and then feed it through the effects, and then back into the looper and make this kind of chain sound on sound stuff, and it's really, really good fun. And there's tons of CV inputs and stereo inputs as well, so it works as a really great effects unit as well. It's a brilliant module, and it seems to pack all of the fun stuff into one thing. And I haven't tried the 4MS Meta. I kind of just
I think it's one of those things that you have to be the right kind of creative. It has to fit your workflow for it to be useful. But much like the what's the expert sleepers kind of do it all function modular in a way. Yeah,
and the new Disting NT as well, which is quite an impressive piece of kit. But I think the div skip, though, I think is just a remarkable piece of design. I think kudos to Ben. He comes up with some fantastic collaborative products. But what makes the div skip, I think, particularly interesting is, it's sort of like a trigger processor, I suppose. You can make all sorts of. You can take incoming beats, or you could take incoming. All sorts of stuff really, and just have it trigger. You've got all your Euclidean kind of stuff in there, but there's multiple modes in there. But I think what makes it really good is the LED lights on there on each of the controls, and the fact that each of the outputs has two complementary outputs as well.
Right.
So you can have, for instance, if one output is sending like an on-beat signal, then its complementary will send an off-beat signal. So whatever that pattern is doing,
it'll do the inverse.
Get the inverse of it. And there's just so much stuff packed into it. And again, it doesn't make any sound, but it's the really smart thinking, and it's also nice and compact. I think it's 8 HP. I've become really HP miserly in recent times.
Very Christmassy. HP Scrooge. It's a special sauce. Yeah. Nice.
It's been a good year for modules.
A tricky one for you to answer, Richard. You are perfectly within your rights to only put forward your own modules. That is completely fair enough. No one will make you. No one will blame you. But yeah,
I'm trying to think if we did a module this year. I don't know if we did.
Actually, that's true.
Maybe a snakes. We did a snakes, but that's not what I'm going to pick, because I'm a bit of a delay nut, and I think Eurorec is a perfect sort of place for weird delays and interacting with delays in interesting and strange ways. And I think the Make Noise Bruxa is a great module. I'm pretty sure it came out this year.
That's part of the Strega. It's the Strega delay circuit, isn't it? That's right.
Exactly. It's based on that PT2399 chip, which is like a lo-fi chip that was designed for reverb. Reverb in karaoke machines. And I think Tony did a really nice job of sort of celebrating what's great about that chip, the sort of dirtiness of it, that sort of, the echoes have this sort of wispiness to them. I don't know, like this ghostliness to them that I think just sounds lovely. And having the filter integrated and having all the different feedback paths, I think Tony did a really nice job with that. So Bruxa is my pick.
Nice. Oh, excellent. That's a good one. Paulee.
Awesome.
Well, obviously, you reviewed the Meta, so,
yes.
So I guess.
I must add that I prefer the PT2399 to BBD modules, personally. I've got a couple of BBD. Well, I do like a BBD and the clock noise and things like that, but I've got a Bufaco of the Bufaco Crush delay, their version of it, and it goes absolutely wild places. So I think it's sort of, I will go crazy and say I prefer it. But anyway, the Meta, I think the Meta is amazing because they've made it livable. It has no right to be so fun to use as it does. They're trying to cram so much in, but because everything's color coded, it is at least bearable, to use. And then you get all the kind of power on top, and then making it more and more accessible each month. The kind of pace of
nice.
Yeah, the kind of pace of updates on this thing. 2.0's coming out soon. It's just been absolutely wild, and I can't wait to see what happens next. I will say that in more recent times, although I made a number of very complex polyphonic patches for the review, I'm mainly using the meta module maybe as 2, 3, or 4 modules at most these days.
Right.
And interfacing them with existing things. So, say for instance, if I've got a marbles clone pachinko, but if I want more than one marbles, I'll just bring one up on here, which is quite a luxury thing to kind of have,
No, that's true.
And it's allowed me to try out so many things, without buying all of the separate things like burst generators or complex logic. And I can really sort of try all the bits of modular that I hadn't quite experienced yet.
Nice. Yeah.
So that's why I love it.
It's VCV-Rack incarnate in a kind of odd way. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
I'm just going to encourage everybody. I'm now. We haven't had an Erica synth or any Latvian winners, but when Game Changer Audio came to visit the studio, they brought this Riga Black Current Balsam, which is. I know the Erica synths. Gertz is a big fan of this. He's always trying to push it on you at trade shows. I never usually drink.
Is it alcoholic?
I'm working. Oh, extremely. Yeah. It's also, that's why I'm only having this much, and I'm going to drink it out of a glass of Rev 2, one of Dave Smith's Rev 2 tequila shot glasses in homage. Obviously, we lost Dave this year, so take a drink for Dave in this. So cheers, everybody. And while I'm slurping away on that, it's now the best mono, and guess what?
Ooh. Hello and welcome to this.
It's this one, isn't it?
Hey!
It's a fix!
I'm a winner!
No, it's not. I'm sorry, I'm messing this around. For some reason, I'm not getting the. It's not going to the thing. Yes, people voted for the Tiger keyboard, so fantastic. And it isn't a fix. Honestly, I've had actually very little to do with this. I've just looked at the numbers. This is a clip from the review. I guess the only thing I would say, stretching it to monosynth might, I suppose it is, because it's paraphonic sort of. So, but yeah, congratulations, Richard. There is no prize other than just the delight that people appreciate your work. And obviously, the fact that it'll result in probably millions of dollars worth of sales based on this prize. So you can buy me a drink next time I see you.
I see them roll. The sales are starting to roll in already. This is good news. My kids are going to get a Christmas this year. I can't tell you how thrilled they are. This is really surprising because although Taiga Keyboard was a new synth this year, it's not a new synth engine because we had the Taiga Desktop out before it. But the response has been really good. I think one thing that Taiga's Keyboard does is sort of add a couple things that are important to me about synthesizers is you all sort of always add something to the mountain of sort of analog synthesis knowledge. And the idea that we built in this little Eurorack expansion bay into this, and we finally made a keyboard after 12 years of making instruments. This instrument meant a lot to me, and we spent a lot of time working on this to try to get it right. So thank you, everyone, for voting for me. I appreciate that. I saw that the Voltage Lab 2 is tied for number 3 with a million other things. Yeah,
and there are. Yeah, I will. So you get a couple in there. Absolutely.
That was another one. That one was something we worked on forever, and that is my baby. So to see that in the list too is very humbling. Thank you to everybody. Now go out and buy them because they're good.
Yeah, absolutely. I should just say, so Pittsburgh Modular Tiger keyboard was 1. PWM Malevolent was number 2. Then it was a load at 3. Behringer Grind, a lot of Behringers, K2 Mark II, MS5, Booklet Easel Retro, that's kind of stretch. Digitac 2, I don't know why that's in there. Future Sound Systems, Crick, Mood Labyrinth, Pittsburgh, there's a load of Uno Synth Pro X, there's Verbus, there's quite a lot of spurious entries in here, so I'm not sure how I feel about that. But anyway, congratulations. Maybe are there any anyone would like to have seen that wasn't there? I don't know, monosynth wise. I can't think of anything off the top of my head right now, but there probably is. I probably should have a favourite somewhere.
Tiger's clearly a worthy winner, but I mean, nice to see the Malevolent in there. I suppose the Mantis is a sort of monosynth. It also does sort of paraphony, sort of partly.
Yeah, actually, Malevolent was last year. Mantis is not this year, so it can't be second.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. As I said at the beginning, it's not terribly scientific. This is one of the problems of doing a best gear, because it takes you probably 3 months to research everything and find out when it came out, and we didn't have the time, so I do apologise. So that's I'm apologising up front. I'll tell you what I was thinking. Did the Behringer Paulee KB, did that come out this year? Or was it? Because it's hard to tell, because they announce things like 10 years in advance. Cobalt Expander, yeah. That is really nice.
I think you had it. I think you had it this year, didn't you? And then
oh well. So okay, maybe not. All right. And anything else in there for you, Paulie?
No. One slight disappointment with the Behringer K2 was I think they've got them back in stock now. Sure, there was an MK2, and it was looking really cool because they added VOCT to it, CV, etc., etc. But apparently there was some kind of defect with the cutoff and resonance. The resonance died out after a little while, so they had to recall them. Oops. So they might technically be more a 2025 synth. When they get restocked and kind of everything like that. But it just goes to show you how even with this SMD technology, how tricky making synths is, Yeah. Mm-hmm. And if you get one little thing wrong, then it's like, we've got to redo it all over again. Yeah, but there we go.
Fair enough.
That's just my thought.
Fair enough.
I voted for Pittsburgh Modular. And it wasn't because Richard sent me something very cool and a very cool prototype to bribe me. There is no legal disclaimer. There is no legal disclaimer with this thing. I voted for it anyway. I love the little bay.
Yeah.
For those who are a little bit modular curious but don't want to to go to the length of buying a case and stuff.
Clouds in there.
Jump on thing.
Clouds in it was a dreamy combination, I have to say, yeah.
I think maybe braids would be cool as well, though. Not for a reverb thing, but, for running the digital oscillators through the analog filters, that'd be good. But, clouds is a worthy addition.
Okay, I'm going to I'm G'ing things up a little bit because we got a couple more to go. That's
fine.
I think, next is Best Promo Video. So, and this was because this was something that you suggested way back, and then you didn't make it on the show. This is the winner of the promo video was, in fact, the Patreon, the telepathic instruments.
Orchid looks like a synth,
yes,
with a keyboard and some buttons,
which we all loved.
Just a synth. Orchid is more like an idea.
Yeah, I mean, we did cover it a little while back. I remember, Richard, because you sent it in as a topic for promo videos, and it was so number one was Telepathic Instruments, the Orchid. Actually, they're going live a little later today, Australian time, for the first 1,000 people on the waiting list to be able to buy it, and they're announcing how much it's going to be. I was looking at how many people have actually signed up to be informed, and it's 10,000. So they're probably you might be disappointed if you're on that list. Second was Teenage Engineering Medieval. Bizarre. I suppose, yeah, that makes sense because that was very random. And then the Teenage Engineering OPXY, which is also very stylish. So, yeah, I suppose that's fair enough. Richard, I'll come to you. You like making kind of creative promotional videos, so I'm guessing you're probably somewhat disappointed that there's none of yours in there, and I do apologise, but I'm sure there are other awards platforms that you'll be able to get recognition on.
Yeah, that's okay. It's okay. I do like making weird and random videos, and all three of these fit that category. The OPXY video I thought was fantastic for just its darkness. I enjoyed it, but the Orchid, the thing looks great. The idea behind it sounds great, and the video itself, because that's what we're focusing on here, was really, really well done. It stayed on message, but it was quirky. But the quirkiness sort of played into what they were trying to say. I was certainly taking notes while I was watching that because I think they really did that well. So hopefully, when I come out with something again in the future, if I ever do,
your video, next year,
I
you'll
will
win next
learn
year
from that. Yeah,
it's a date. Definitely. Nice one. Gaz, any favourite promo videos? I mean, if the telepathic instruments, I can't remember if you were on that show or not, but it is a pretty good.
It's a lovely little video. God, I'm struggling on this one. I mean, all I can think is just how the bar was set such a long time ago for the best one with the Electron Octatrack back 15 years ago or something, that everything has paled in significance since then.
They did one for the Analog 4 that was pretty major as well.
Or maybe the Analog 4 one it kind of gives it a run for the money. They're both on a similar kind of
high budget,
budget. But I'm struggling to even think about this. Again, I think possibly because I'm mostly focused on Eurorack, and the promo videos don't tend to get that out there.
I suppose they don't, do
they? But I mean, this little thing then, this little Tame Impala, like
the
Orchid. I wonder how successful it's actually going to be. I mean, it's such a kind of curious thing. I think that the promo video was so sort of good at
promising,
how it will actually be. Well, I'm quite curious about it. I'm quite skeptical about it too, and we don't know the price of it. That's just about to be announced. There,
no, we don't. Yeah, it'll be announced sometime. I think I think I've actually got. Have I got a? Let's see. There's a screenshot in 8 hours, 1 minute and 23 seconds and counting. Yeah, first 1,000 Orchids release. Yeah, there we go. So not for a little while yet. But today. No, I'd like to give a shout out for RYK Modular. They do really good videos. They should, because he's an ex-video producer. So, just the Sonics and stuff are really nice in it. Paulie, any favourites for you?
The funniest one I thought was, and this is another Pittsburgh Modular one, Hanging with Michael and Richard. Oh, I can't show it, but it's literally a video of Richard and Michael from Pittsburgh Modular being really incredibly awkward. Like, I don't know if it's on purpose or if they're just this awkward people, which is fine. I'm quite awkward myself, but the thing that cracks me up is like they're talking about the new product, and it's like Rich goes, "I'm a really bad keyboardist. Can I just ignore the keyboard on the new instrument?" And I was just howling at the screen. So it was really good, and I like that kind of quirky, awkward humor. Reminds me of kind of a lot of kind of British-y Monty Python-esque kind of humor from back in the day. So yeah, that was my favorite one. Keep doing them, Rich. Keep doing them.
Nice. Actually, we did something with you and Richard, didn't we? A remote and Gaz, didn't we do a thing? What was that on? That was on the Tiger module, wasn't it? We did it. Yeah. I seem to remember that. Yes, good fun. Okay, well, we're getting there. We might be able to reel this in before the hat wears out and I have to swap to my backup hat. Let's see. Yeah, we're now. I think we're here. We're at Best Polysynth. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Let's go the other way around. What do you think it's going to be? And then we'll reveal. That's a bit more showbiz, isn't it? I don't know. Gaz, what do you think the best polysynth of 2024, or the one that was voted hot top, is likely to be?
Well, I've seen the answers.
Oh, I suppose that's true. Yeah, that doesn't work. Yeah, no,
I would say
that's my mistake.
We just lie.
I'd forgotten about that.
Through our teeth.
I tell you what, this stuff really works fast, and I've had about 3 centimeters in a shot glass. So that's a terrible idea. Okay, let's rewind and say that. Shall I just play the video and then we'll just get on with it? Let's just play the video and then we'll get on with it.
All right.
So Chris,
hey.
exciting. You get to demo a new synth. Hope you've had a bit of time.
Yeah. Well, thankfully, I've had a bit of time to play around with this, and it's it's really, really sweet. As David was saying,
the TO5, the Oberheim TO5. And again, I have to say, I mean, I won't play the whole video. I reviewed it as well. This was like by a country mile the winner. I mean, like, you know, many votes for this. It's really surprising, and I was quite surprised, and I think it's great that that's the case. First is TO5 1400, back 1400 UK pounds. Second was Polybrute 12, which I thought might win it because people would aspire to it, but I think the TO5 owners probably just voted because they bought it and thought it was great. And then third was the Moog Muse. So interesting, an interesting split there. But the TO5 is a really nice synthesizer. It's Thomas Elmore Oberheim is what it stands for, and it's a 5-voice synth based on the sort of Take 5 thing. But people have been really giving it a lot of love in the comments, which is very interesting. Have you had a chance to play with the TO, Richard? I mean, then some of those, you know, there's quite a range of. Well, I suppose it's the most affordable Oberheim if you discount the Behringer model that you can get because it is an Oberheim, and it gets you most of the way there. It's just, you know, quite a lot less than the OB6 and a heck of a lot less than the OBX8. So, you know, it's very well positioned. And I think that's what people just went for it because it was affordable.
No, it's hard to argue with this one. Tom's instruments have always sounded amazing. And I think Sequential did a really nice job of making this an Oberheim instrument and not just changing a couple bits here and there to give it a bit of an Oberheim sound. It really does sound like Tom's work. It's hard to argue with this. It's clear that this one is the winner. It wouldn't have been my pick again because it's really big and it has a big keyboard on it. I would have gone with the Teenage Engineering OPXY, but that's
interesting.
That's my vote. I like the size of it. I know a few weeks ago, people thought it was crazy that I thought it was worth the money. But as a
polysynth, that's interesting. You go for that as an actual polysynth, because I mean, I would say that as a Groovebox that would probably work. But yeah, it's an interesting choice.
Well, I think, you know, if you can play a chord on it, it's in my mind it would fit as a polysynth.
Fair enough.
So
cool.
That's what I think.
Excellent, nice one. Thank you very much, Gaz. What do you think?
I mean, UDO's Super 8, I think, just is.
Oh, yes, that's very, very good point. Yes,
just lovely. And actually, my Super 6 has just gone into another league since I've got the Paulee Aftertouch keybed mod on it. So for me, that's my personal pick because I've got one. But I think the Super 8, because I suppose there's a slight confusion that, you know, you got the Super Gemini and Super 8 and the Super 6 as to where the Super 8 kind of fits in. But I think when you play one, as you've just recently done a review of, haven't you? It's just a, you know, just right. You know, everything's just right about it. I think it's a
and I would agree. It's a beautiful piece of design. I think. I mean, because it's, you know, there are a few synthesizers around the $3,000 mark. The TO is the cheapest. The Polybrute, obviously, the Moog Muse, and the Super 8 are all around the same price. The Super Gemini is a little bit more expensive, but again, it's almost like if you want a lot of Udo for your money, then the Super 8 is probably the sweet spot for that, because you don't necessarily need dual controls. But yeah, there's quite a lot of instruments in this whole thing, you know. But one thing that was quite interesting is I thought this would be the biggest category in terms of votes. And it's not. And I think that's probably to do with just the amount of money people have got to spend. So there's not many people who are buying massive, great polysynths. It's probably not as, as many as, well, the TO5, obviously they are, but then that's half the price of the other two runners up. Interesting. Paulie, what about you?
TO5, I think, is a good winner because it brings linear FM to an analog polysynth, which has been something in modular oscillators for quite some time, through zero, proper linear FM. But to hear it in an affordable polysynth is really, really cool, actually. And I told Calc this, it actually made me look at my OB6 and go, should I downgrade? Because I was really vibing with some of the sounds it made. So I think it's a worthy winner. But my vote goes to a synth that comes in the under £300 mark, which is a kind of category hybrid synths with analog filters under 300 quid. The Ambika has dominated that for years and years and years, and now Michigan Synths works Xena, which is a combination, which is a continuation of the Ambika. But then Gleegly earlier this year dropped the Overcycler for something like €300, 6 voices, SSM filters, Adventure Kid single cycle waveforms. I just don't know how he's done it for this price, apart from, of course, using project box kind of cases that they use in hospitals for medical equipment. But I think it's absolutely incredible, this kind of low end analog market you've got now. You've got so many choices. You've got Xena, you've got this, you've got the Behringer Pro 800 if you want a fully analog polysynth around that price. And it's a category that just didn't exist a few years ago. So we've seen a lot of a lot of progression in the low end analog polysynth. The mini log kind of started it all, I think, for kind of low end analog. So there we go. That's my pick, Overcycler. Very, very cool synth.
Nick,
Nice.
Can I cut in? I'm so sorry. I didn't even when I was thinking Paulee, it didn't even occur to me. But this thing,
Yes, I was just going to say.
Well, hey,
the Polyend synth,
is an absolute peach. The more I've been using it, and you mentioned at the top of the show about the latest cross-modal video where
it sounds great.
use this a lot in that. And of course, it's very much polyphonic synth. I mean, it's an 8 voice, but you can spread that across 3 different synth engines simultaneously, and a really great price. I think this actually might be one of my gear of the year overall. Actually, if I'm
nice, that's a good shout. Yeah,
I really want to. I really want to dig into that. I really want to get one and dig into the physical modeling stuff on it, Gaz, because it looks to be really, really cool.
You've got that.
Sure,
in your 4MS Meta. I mean, it is almost to a T. But then it takes elements, but then it does give you the other things, the ADSR and LFOs. But it is elements really almost to a T.
Okay. That's cool.
Interesting. I've got to put a shout in for the Dreadbox Murmux, the one from this year, because that sounded absolutely fantastic. But if somewhat rarefied, because obviously there were only a few of those made. I mean, that is a lovely sounding instrument. That really sounded good. And there was rumours of another one this year, but I don't think it's been something else coming out this year. But it hasn't come out yet. So.
Yeah,
the Murmux is a little bit more. Is it a little bit more complex as well for a Dreadbox instrument? I think it's got more modulation and bits and pieces like that.
It's a pretty nice thing. It did sound.
So it's more comprehensive.
I played with it at Gearfest in the summer, and it was just like wow. Almost, and I don't often get this because it has to take a lot to make me think. You know what? I should buy one of these because it's just so lovely. I didn't because they weren't any left anyway, and I couldn't. But that is a lovely sounding instrument. That really is. Well, we've sort of made it. We got to the end. I suppose gear of the year. I suppose we could ask, what would be your single item gear pick before we go? Would seem to be not an unreasonable thing to say. I don't know what I would choose. I mean, I I'm kind of tempted by the Super 8 because I just think it sounds so damn lovely. But anybody got anything? Richard, is there anything, just one, if you had to choose one thing from the year? It's a tough question to answer, isn't it?
Well, the only thing I bought this year, I did end up getting the Teenage Engineering OPXY, so I'll pick that. Okay. But the instrument that I've been using this year is the Voltage Lab, and so I did an album this year. 90% of it was done on the Voltage Lab. That is, an instrument by me for me, but that's where it is.
That's the ultimate luxury, isn't it?
Yeah.
Excellent. What about you, Gaz? What's your sort of top one from the year?
Well, yeah, it would be
It's the play, isn't it? Right.
2024 release, but also, I mean, shout out to the Oxy One, which isn't this year product, but I got it this year. But no, I think I am. I'm going to say that this is my product of the year because it's affordable. First and foremost, really affordable. This is a Paulee. I mean, that's the thing. It's a Paulee aftertouch. You can set each one of those pads to 5 different destinations per synth engine. So, once you start digging into what this thing can do, it really is.
It's impressive. There's a lot of talk of the Akai MPC 37 key. Did that come this year? And that was actually a very bold. That a lot of people were saying that was the perfect form factor for the MPC engine. Actually, so that's worth a shout. Thanks for that in the chat. Paulie, what about you?
I think probably in terms of limitless tweaking, fun, and potential that I'll never get tired of, it has to be the Meta module. Because I won't be able to find every combination of patching for that thing, even if I live to be 102. So there we go.
Right. Okay. Well done, everybody. We made it, and it's not. We didn't roll over too long, so I feel like I must have just been. I hope if I didn't cut people off too much and sort of G you along too much, but yeah. All 8. So that was the gear of the year. Sorry.
Well, it was one thing that you didn't pick up Paulie on. Paulie said MK2, and that wasn't that your bugbear for many a year.
Oh, what, like Mark? Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. No, I hadn't realised that.
Oh, really? Okay.
I've obviously mellowed.
Oh, goodness.
I must have mellowed in the last 12 months. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I didn't sort of rant about it or anything. So, but yeah, thanks for reminding me of my intolerance, Gaz.
Thanks for not scaring the guests off.
So, yeah, once again, thanks to, and a big thanks to, obviously, all our Patreon supporters, all the viewers, everybody who's subscribed to the channel, all the manufacturers and advertisers. Goes without saying, all the guests who couldn't be with us this week and have been throughout the year and beyond will be back. I don't know when it is. The first Wednesday in 2025 that's not New Year's Day, I think is about as close as I can get at this point. So thank you, everybody. I hope everybody's going to have a great break and the holidays, and I guess we'll see you all soon. I would wave it. I can wave just about if I sort of get us in. Thank you very much. That was 2024. That was the Gear of the Year Awards. That was Sonic Talk. Thank you very much, everybody. See you next time. Take care. Bye bye now.
See ya.
See ya.